I started. A purely physical, no strings attached game with Mikai, a high society heiress. She was wild in bed and loved chasing thrills. I was uninhibited, and I loved money. After we'd indulged ourselves that day, she suddenly transferred 100 million to me. I wondered if she had accidentally added a few extra zeros. Then her cool voice reached me. I'm getting married next month. Take the money and disappear from my world. I felt nothing. Instead, I teased her casually. I thought you already had a husband and kids. Well, congratulations. A barely noticeable darkness entered her eyes. She stared at me intensely, thinking of that 100 million. Afraid she'd change her mind in the next second, I rushed over to her at once. I intimately wrapped my arms around her waist and nuzzled between her breasts. Then I'll take the money. Thank you, Ms. Me. You're so good to me. But she shoved me away. You can leave now. Remember what I said. Disappear completely. I quickly pulled out my phone. Right in front of her, without the slightest hesitation, I blocked her number and deleted her WeChat contact. You will never be able to contact me again. Don't worry. As I spoke, I fished my boxer briefs out from under the blanket. Then I gave her a shameless grin. Come on, give me a hand. Her face darkened, but she still bent down and expertly pulled up my boxer briefs. I'll be going now. I've got a date with a girl for late night snacks. Let's not waste each other's time. Finally, I leaned close to her ear with a teasing smile. Goodbye, sugar mommy. With that said, I ignored the stormy look in her eyes. I grabbed my things and hurried downstairs. I put on my gear and climbed onto my motorcycle. I started it smoothly, then sped away from the villa. Over the next month, Mikai was the last thing on my mind. Every day, I was either planning outings with my adventure crew or hanging out with my buddies. Life was carefree and wild. Of course, I had a legitimate career too. I loved animals, so I opened a pet hospital in China. I had a real gift for the business, and the hospital was doing quite well. It already had 73 branches. That afternoon, I had just finished a pile of chores at the clinic when my phone rang. Seeing the caller's name, I answered impatiently. What do you want? Xiaomo, it's your aunt's birthday today. Come to the Yun residence for dinner tonight. The caller was Yun Wentao, my so-called biological father. Normally, I would not even answer his calls, let alone set foot in that house. But I had an important matter to settle soon. So after a few seconds, I agreed. I hated talking about my utterly miserable family history. When I was very young, my father started an affair with my aunt. It eventually drove my mother into depression, and she died because of it. Before my aunt even became my stepmother, I had already become the unwanted one in the family. When I was 10, Yun Wentao sent me abroad to live. Aside from basic support payments, he gave me almost no fatherly love. He essentially left me to fend for myself. For that afternoon, I drove to the Yun residence. When I entered the living room, Yun Wentao was sitting on the sofa, talking to someone on the phone. When my stepmother, Meng Riyun, saw me, her undisguised disgust was plain to see. Didn't I tell you it was your aunt's birthday today? Why did you come empty-handed? Yun Wentao demanded. I did not want to waste words. I didn't come here to celebrate anyone's birthday. I'm just here for the household register, so I can remove myself from this household. Meng Riyun gave me a sit-along appraisal. She noticed the green Rolex Submariner on my wrist. Everything I wore was designer. So that's why you suddenly want to leave the household. Meng Riyun snorted coldly. Looks like some woman is keeping you as her pretty boy. I sneered. That's right. I found myself an old hag recently. She's even older than my father. She throws millions, even tens of millions, at me whenever she feels like it. I don't lack spending money now. Yun Wentao pointed in my face and cursed. You shameless bastard. You fool around outside every day. Do you have even a shred of shame? Are you trying to disgrace me completely? I shot back absent-mindedly. Sorry, my parents died young. I was born, but never properly raised. I have never known what shame means. If you knew what shame was, you would not have done those filthy things back then. Yun Wentao shook with rage. Through clenched teeth, he said, Do you think I really can't control you anymore? I turned away, too tired to deal with that old bastard. Enough. Stop talking nonsense. Bring out the household register. I'll change my surname immediately. When I die, you will not even have to collect my corpse. Meng Riyun put on the domineering air of the lady of the house. Your father and I raised you for over 20 years. We did not raise you for nothing. Either repay every penny spent on you over the years, principal and interest included, or accept the marriage I've arranged for you. You'll become their live-in son-in-law. Then your household registration will naturally go with you. Cut ties however you want. This marriage she mentioned was only meant to make me a live-in son-in-law to some wealthy businessman's disabled daughter, in exchange for business resources for the Yun family. Facing her ugly, greedy expression, I fired back. Meng Riyun, you don't seriously think you've got me in your grip, do you? Fine. Do not give me the household register. Then we'll settle this in court. I stared at the woman who had driven my mother to death, reminding her of her shameless acts over 20 years ago. I'll let the whole world know that the famous Meng Ruyun was only the Meng family's adopted daughter. She repaid their kindness by seducing the Meng family's biological daughter's husband and successfully took her place. She drove her adoptive parents to their deaths and seized the Meng family's pharmaceutical company. That is how she clawed her way to her current position. Let's see how you survive in high society after that. That hit Meng Ruyun right where it hurt. Her face went pale with rage. She raised her hand to slap me. I swiftly seized her wrist. Then I slapped her back. Meng Ruyun's eyes widened. She could not believe that this little bastard would dare lay a hand on an elder like her. Meng Ruyun's son, Jingcheng, happened to come home then. The moment he walked in, he saw it all. He hurried over and anxiously asked, "Mom, are you okay? Are you hurt anywhere?" That bastard dared lay his hands on me. Meng Ruyun was furious and resentful. She raised her hand, ready to fight me. But when she saw someone appear at the door, she abruptly stopped. I followed her gaze and turned around. A noble, icy woman was walking in. Her arrival seemed to make the whole living room drop several degrees colder. When I saw her face clearly, my heart jolted. How could it be her? Naturally, she noticed me too. The instant our eyes met, the air around us nearly froze. Xiao Kai. Yan Wentao immediately went over to greet her. His face was covered in smiles. "Come. Have a seat. Sorry, there was a small family dispute just now. I thought you two would arrive later. Please, have a seat." After saying that, Yan Wentao darkly warned me under his breath. "She's Jingcheng's fiancée, an honored guest of this family. Stop causing trouble here. Leave now." Fiancée. At those 3 words, my entire body went rigid. My disbelieving gaze locked onto the woman again. At the same time, Meng Ruyun also came over to greet her with an apologetic look. "Xiao Kai, I'm so sorry about that. Your first visit to our home, and you had to walk into such chaos. You must think we're a joke. Sorry. This boy is your Uncle Yun's son with his ex-wife. He's used to being arrogant and overbearing. He's always making scenes at home, afraid my disgraceful image would affect the Yun and me family's marriage alliance." Meng Ruyun quickly distanced herself from me. "But don't worry. He doesn't live with us. Your Uncle Yun and I will handle this family matter." Mikai did not say a word after hearing this. She only gave me a cold glance before looking away. The contempt and indifference in her eyes clearly showed how little she thought of me. "Brother, why do you turn the house upside down every time you come home?" Yan Jingcheng came up to me, pretentiously brushing dust from my shoulder. Then, playing the victim, he said, "Brother, if my mother said something that upset you, I'll apologize to you right now, okay? You can mistreat me however you like. Just please don't take your anger out on my mom again. She has a heart condition. Get away from me. I hate other men touching me, especially this fake, sanctimonious bastard." As I cursed him, I shoved Yan Jingcheng. Yan Jingcheng stumbled back several steps, on the verge of losing his balance and falling. Luckily, Mikai caught him in time. Mikai finally snapped. She glared at me, her eyes blazing. In a low voice, she said, "Touch him again. I dare you." Hearing that threat, I froze for a moment, watching her fiercely defend her man. I finally remembered that she was about to marry this man. "Fine." I gritted my teeth and sneered. What I hate most is being threatened. The next second, I snatched a glass of water from the maid and splashed it straight into Yan Jingcheng's face. Then I tossed the glass into the trash can by my feet. As if nothing happened, I headed for the door. But after only a few steps, a soft hand suddenly grabbed my arm. When I looked closer, I met Mikai's eyes, burning with fury. I tried to shake off her hand, but her grip only tightened. I could not be bothered to struggle. I teasingly asked, "Why are you, a woman, putting your hands all over me, trying to seduce me this way?" Hearing my shameless words, Mikai did not know whether to let go or keep holding on. She simply stared me down. Seeing his fiancé get rough with me to defend him, Yan Jingcheng felt indescribably delighted. Even though his face had just been drenched, he no longer cared. But when he noticed Mikai's hand clenched tightly around my exposed skin, he was visibly displeased again. "Xiao Kai, don't mind him. He's a lunatic, a complete psycho. There's nothing he wouldn't say or do. Just let him go. Don't dirty your hands on him." "Exactly, Xiao Kai." Meng Ruyun added fuel to the fire. "I know you cannot stand seeing Jingcheng bullied, but what you don't know is your Uncle Yun's eldest son picked up every bad habit imaginable abroad. Smoking, drinking, drugs, sleeping around. He's mastered them all. Even his father cannot control him. For the sake of family harmony, we can only put up with him." It was as if Mikai could not hear this mother and son buzzing in her ear. Her gaze remained fixed on my face, while her hand kept gripping my arm. I was getting impatient. I wanted to pry her hand away. But when my eyes fell on that familiar little hand, I suddenly changed my mind. I covered the back of her hand with mine and deliberately stroked it softly. I met her eyes with a provocative stare. Sure enough, faced with my blatant public teasing, Mikai quickly became uncomfortable. She let go go in disgust. Enough, get the hell out of here. When Jingcheng saw me touch Mikai's hand, he finally lost it. He no longer bothered pretending. Pulling Mikai's arm close, he asserted his claim over her to me. You like seducing women? Go seduce someone else. Don't discuss my fiancée here. She's not someone like you can insult whenever you please. I sneered, thinking of all those passionate, exhilarating nights we'd shared, then comparing them to her now. The irony was almost laughable. Rich people really fucking know how to play. I did not want to waste another second on these snakes and monsters. I gave that woman one glance, then walked out without looking back. I kept my back straight, doing my best not to walk like a beaten stray dog. I got into my blue Ferrari and slammed the door shut. After a smooth reverse and turn, I floored the gas and sped away from the villa. It was already 8 that evening when I got home. I lived alone in an ordinary apartment complex. It was nowhere near as spacious or luxurious as the Yun Villa, but in this huge city, it was the only home truly mine. I had an intelligent, imposing German shepherd at home. The moment I came in, it happily rushed to greet me. I played with my dog for a while, then curled up on the couch and chatted with my friends overseas for more than 10 minutes. When I started feeling hungry, I ordered takeout. After I showered and put on my pajamas, the app showed that my order had arrived and had been left at my door as requested. I did not think much of it. I opened the door to collect it, but the moment the door opened a crack, someone shoved it violently from outside. A woman forced her way in. Her familiar, icy scent hit me. Before I could even speak, she shoved me hard onto the couch. I could not help cursing. I met Mikai's dark, sinister eyes. Why did you follow me to my home again? What do you want now? Mikai came up to me with an accusatory tone. Yun Mo, didn't I warn you to get out of my life for good? Why were you at the Yun house, acting like a maniac? I paused in surprise, then snorted coldly. Miss me. You're hilarious. The Yun house belongs to my biological father. This is my turf too. From beginning to end. Haven't you been invading my world? I could call the police right now and report you for breaking and entering. Her beautiful eyes darkened further. Her petite body drifted closer to me. She came so close that her huge breasts were nearly in my face. She reached out and gripped my jaw. Now that you know about my connection to the Yun family, you'd better not tell anyone about what happened between us, especially not one word to Yun Jingcheng. I let her small hand hold my chin. My dark eyes locked onto hers. Is that so? Without the slightest fear, I shot back with a provocative look. What exactly between us must I not reveal? Should I not tell him? We tried every position. Or should I not tell him? We tried every possible place? Furious, Mikai tightened her grip. She looked like she wanted to crush me to death, but she finally let go in disgust. She then went out onto the balcony for some air, as if trying to calm the tangled turmoil inside her. I looked at her silent back on the balcony, unable to figure out what this woman wanted. Just then, my WeChat notification chimed. I checked it. It was a message from a girl I kept on the back burner, asking whether I was free for a late-night meal. I had her saved on WeChat as Xiaomei. Without much hesitation, I accepted her invitation. I walked over to Mikai and showed her the door. All right, miss me. I have plans tonight. I don't have time to play with you. Leaning against the balcony's glass door, I sneered. Since our transaction was settled long ago, I know what I should do. Who you marry has nothing to do with me. I have a date later. You can leave now. I had said dozens of words, but she seemed to hear only one date. Her blade-sharp gaze raked over me. There was mockery beneath her anger. Found someone new already. Yeah, a younger girl. She's rich too. Pretty, innocent-looking, and young. She's more than 10 years younger than you. She's bursting with youthful energy. She shot me to vicious glares. Her mood turned foul. Even she did not know why she had come tonight. She only knew every word from this man's mouth. Felt like a stab through the heart. A nameless fire surged up in her chest, gradually burning through her very core. Then my WeChat chimed again. She asked where we should meet. Holding my phone, I sent her a voice message. Anywhere is fine. You pick. That music bar where we met last time was nice. Then, when you get there, before I could even finish the message, the woman before me suddenly snatched my phone. With a crash, she hurled it into a trash can several yards away. When I came to my senses, I cursed. Are you insane? But I immediately moved to retrieve my phone. Before I could take a step, she roughly seized my arm and forced me down onto the couch. Mikai pinned me down from above. My face was buried in the couch, and I could barely breathe. I instinctively tried to struggle, but the cramped space had me trapped. My resistance was useless. Soon, I felt her fierce, storm-like domination. Her wild breath completely engulfed me. I never expected this woman to have such a freakish streak in her. I closed my eyes. All my reason and willpower drifted away. It was free, after all. No reason to turn it down. Besides, I hadn't had any release in days. I did not know how much time passed. At last, the storm subsided. I slumped disheveled on the couch. It felt as though her shapely backside, nearly half my body weight, had crushed my body to pieces. I did not want to speak, much less think. I was numb and languid. Mikai, meanwhile, had the brief satisfaction and calm that followed pleasure. She stood there, slowly buttoning her blouse. Her tailored white uniform was more wrinkled than when she arrived, yet it still perfectly outlined her slim waist and soft, ample breasts. At that moment, I seemed to temporarily forget the conflict between us. After Mikai straightened her clothes, she turned and met my slightly dazed gaze. After only a few seconds of eye contact, her usual coldness returned. I've said everything I came to say tonight. Don't let me see you at the Yun house again. With those final words, she picked up her phone and car keys and headed for the door. I was already used to her heartless attitude. It no longer surprised me, nor did it stir much in me. But just as she was about to open the door, I inexplicably called out to her, "Miss me, aren't you forgetting something?" She stopped. I stared steadily at her and spoke with a half smile in a business-like tone. "Last month, payment and services were settled. Tonight is a separate charge." At those words, Mikai rolled her eyes contemptuously. After less than 10 seconds of thought, she took out her phone, opened our WeChat chat, and started transferring me money. "Add me back?" she asked. Only then did I remember blocking her the last time we went our separate ways. So I took out my phone and removed her from my block list. Soon, a transfer notification appeared on my phone, but the amount made my face instantly darken. 250 yuan. I'd make more than that working as a male escort. Expressionlessly, she delivered the insult. "That's all you're worth now." I froze for a moment. "Fine." I clenched my teeth and sneered. "Then I'll call the police right now and report an illegal prostitution transaction here. We can both spend a couple of weeks in jail. Maybe I'll even see whether my idol has worn out his prison sewing machine. I've got all the time in the world. But your grand wedding to your fiancé may have to be postponed." And with that, I seriously began. Entering 110 on my phone's call screen, Mikai stared at me as though I were insane. For a long moment, she was utterly speechless. "Do you really love money that much?" she asked. "What? Should I love you instead?" I shot back. Her eyes went completely dark. Another restless, nameless rage surged within her. She no longer wanted to trade nonsense with me. She took out her phone and quickly tapped "Open a financial app." Without even blinking, she transferred 10 million yuan to my account. "Get as far away from me as you can. This 10 million buys your silence about us forever." With that, she stalked coldly toward the door. She slammed it behind her and left. The living room fell silent again. For a long time, I could not process it. I opened the bank transfer notification on my phone. Seeing that dizzying string of zeros, I was not nearly as thrilled as I should have been. My feelings only grew more complicated. She used 10 million yuan, mere pocket change to her, to brush off an unpresentable fling like me. Yet she was willing to give up her entire fortune, including herself, to give another man a happy marriage with her. At that thought, I still felt a tightness in my chest. I took a cigarette from the coffee table drawer and lit it. Holding it to my lips, I took a deep drag. I exhaled smoke with practiced ease. Amid the curling haze, I felt much calmer. That cheap little pang of loneliness soon vanished like smoke. Over the following days, I threw myself into finding a location for my new store. I had no time for all those aggravating people and problems. One morning, after a meeting with my store staff, I took a moment to check my phone. My WeChat notification chimed. When I opened it, there was another message from Xiaomei. She asked whether I was free today. She wanted to invite me to go mountain biking. She also sent me a photo of a high-end mountain bike, saying she had just bought it and wanted me to test ride it. Since I had nothing important that afternoon, and I had not done downhill riding in ages, I was itching for it. Without overthinking it, I happily agreed. I went home and changed into professional mountain biking gear. I grabbed a change of casual clothes, got in the car, and set the navigation for the address Xiaomei had sent me. I floored it the whole way, driving like a racer. I arrived in under half an hour. It was a place in the suburbs, much like a national forest park. There were mountains, a lake, and terraced paths, and the scenery was beautiful, thanks to its excellent terrain. Several mountain biking trails had been built there. Plenty of riders came here to try them out. After parking, I had barely stepped out of the car when someone called from behind me. "Yunmo." I turned around. A petite, beautiful young woman was walking toward me. She wore yoga pants and a women's athletic top, while pushing a brand new mountain bike. It was Xiaomei. I met her 6 months ago during a wingsuit flight organized by our group. That was when we officially got acquainted. I did not actually know her real name. I had never asked, and she had never volunteered it. Friends only told me she came from an absurdly wealthy family and was studying for a master's degree at a world-renowned university. She also enjoyed thrilling extreme sports. We did not keep in touch much. We had met only 2 or 3 times, usually while out with a group of friends. Today was our first time meeting alone. "Here, I bought this especially for you." Xiaomei pushed the bike in front of me and introduced it with a smile. "This model has absolutely top-tier specs. It took me months through a reseller to get it." "Really? Let me see." I was a serious rider myself, so naturally, I knew quality when I saw it. As Xiaomei explained the bike, I crouched down and examined it with great interest. I tested the feel of the grips and pedals. It had a top-of-the-line braking system and electronic shifting. Its impact resistance was practically the best in the world. The inverted fork, tires, and every other component were luxury grade. The whole bike probably cost at least 1,000,000 yuan. This one is yours. Mine is over there. Xiaomei had an assistant who came with her. Push over the other bike, then said to me, mine is pink, and it matches yours as a couple set. At the word couple, I gave a non-committal chuckle. Come on, let's head over there and get started. Which trail do you want? I asked. Your call. I'm good with anything. Oh, right? Xiaomei looked up, her gaze warm and intense. Before we go, there's something important I want to ask you. Do you have a girlfriend? I paused, then I gave a soft laugh. No, I've always been single. Then that's good. Xiaomei seemed to sigh in relief. Then we can really have some fun today. Let's go. Downhill mountain biking is one of the most thrilling disciplines, and among the more dangerous extreme sports. They say, if you do it well, you end up covered in dust. Do it badly, and you'll piss and shit yourself. I had been doing it since I was 7. I had taken plenty of falls back then, and even broken a bone once. Before reaching my current level, we pushed our bikes to the top of the mountain, to the starting point of the advanced trail. We put on all our safety gear, including knee pads, elbow pads, foot guards, neck protection, helmets, and more. At the signal, I gripped the handlebars with both hands, push off, and plunged downhill without hesitation. The terrain was complex. There were huge drops, and the forest paths were especially rugged. A dog running through there would crack its head open, but I rode it as if it were level ground. Flying down the slope at breakneck speed, I nimbly dodged obstacle after obstacle and carved through the turns with ease. Xiaomei followed behind at the same speed. She had even mounted a camera on her handlebars beforehand, perfectly capturing my every spectacular move from behind. After the steep forest stretch, we reached equally steep man-made stone steps. Our bikes bounced down the steps at high speed. Soon, we reached another treacherous narrow path. A cliff ran along one side, and the path was narrow and uneven. Most people would be shaking just walking along it. With no guardrails or safety nets, we raced along it on our bikes. My adrenaline surged. The faster I went, the better it felt. Mountain winds howled in my ears, and all the bad feelings that had built up over the past days were released through that exhilarating ride. Eventually, we cleared the most challenging section, then pulled off a beautiful aerial flip, and reached the finish line unharmed. When we stopped, we were both panting hard, drenched in sweat, but it felt unbelievably exhilarating. Xiaomei took a bottle of mineral water her assistant had prepared, unscrewed the cap herself, and handed it to me. Here, you're a legend. From now on, I'm sticking with you. I took the water, tilted my head back, and gulped down over half the bottle. I had to admit, this bike is incredible. It is seriously tough. It is the coolest bike I have ever ridden. If you like it, I'll get you every new model this brand releases. I'll cover all your gear, too. I burst out laughing. Are you some wealthy family's silly daughter? Xiaomei did not answer. Her eyes remained fixed, almost entranced on my handsome face. A light sheen of sweat covered my forehead after the ride. My warm-toned skin glowed with a honeyed flesh, along with my soulful, puppy-like eyes. My whole face radiated youthful energy. She could not look away. A face like that held a woman's seductive charm, without losing a man's rugged handsomeness. It put all those skinny male models around her to absolute shame. When I happened to look up, I met Xiaomei's burning gaze. It made me a little uncomfortable, so I changed the subject and asked whether she wanted another couple of runs. But Xiaomei had other plans. How about this? I have a villa in this area. Let's ride there. It is about 15 kilometers away. There is a pool at the house, so we can go swimming when we get there. I did not think much of it. Sure, in this summer heat, after sweating buckets from working out, jumping into a pool for a swim sounded amazing. So next, we rode our mountain bikes onto the suburban roads. On the flat ground, we happily chased each other. Our pedals were practically smoking, and at one point we even overtook the cars beside us. As we powered uphill, I spotted a modern-style mansion standing in the distance. Do you usually live here? I asked her between labored breaths as I rode. No. Xiaomei smiled. I forgot to tell you. This is actually my aunt's home. I come here often. Your aunt? Yes. This is her private residence. Hearing that, I instinctively slowed down. Is that really okay? You're bringing an outsider like me in. An elder like your aunt would surely hate that. Maybe we should go somewhere else. What elder? She's only 10 years older than me. We're incredibly close. We are practically sisters. She will not mind. Xiaomei added. I brought you here, mainly because it is close to where we were riding. And besides, my aunt's villa has an amazing huge pool. I wanted you to try it out. Your aunt is not home now, right? Relax. She is single and works herself to death every day. She often even sleeps at the office. She is rarely home. We were almost at the gate, so I stopped overthinking it. It was a detached villa built atop a mountain. The view was remarkably expansive. It was far from the city's clamor, yet overlooked the bustling city below. A vast green golf course stretched behind the villa. To the right was a spacious parking lot, filled with dozens of luxury cars. The surrounding facilities were comprehensive, and the landscaping was immaculate. Every breath of air felt fresh and pleasant. Its security systems were flawless. I could not imagine what kind of elite rich woman could afford an estate in such a prime location. Uncle Kin, bring out several new men's swimsuits. Let Mr. Yun choose one. We will be swimming shortly. Xiaomei removed her helmet as she instructed the villa's butler. Certainly, miss. After that, Xiaomei led me into the vast, luxurious hall. She had a maid serve me tea and refreshments. Once the butler brought out the swimsuits, we headed for the pool. The pool was beside the villa. It was bigger than a major public pool. Its design was highly imaginative. From the deck, it looked as though it had no edge. Xiaomei changed quickly. She had already jumped in and swum several laps. When she saw me emerge in my swimwear, her eyes went wide. I had chosen a black swimsuit. My 18-pack abs were enough to make anyone dizzy, especially the striking bulge in my trunks. Clearly, those 2.5 years of training had paid off. Under Xiaomei's undisguised stare, I felt no discomfort at all. I launched myself into the pool. As a skilled swimmer myself, I was thrilled the moment I hit the water. I swam a lap using all kinds of strokes, then started splashing and playing with Xiaomei. To her, I was a seductive, mysterious, dangerous man. To me, she was a sunny, youthful younger girl, perfect for fun and chasing away boredom. We played freely and joyfully in the pool. Sometimes we raced. Sometimes we splashed each other. Sometimes we traded tips. When Xiaomei mischievously aimed a huge splash right at my face, I gave her a hard kick in return, then turned and swam away. I dived to the bottom 2 meters down. I held my breath underwater for 2 minutes. When I surfaced for air, I looked up and saw someone standing on the poolside. A cold, aloof woman in sheer black silk stockings. The terrifyingly familiar silhouette made my breath catch. I swiftly wiped the water from my face and looked again. Damn it, it really was her. At that moment, Mikai stood on the deck, staring at me as if I were a walking curse. When she saw I was wearing only swim trunks, her gaze turned even colder. She looked ready to jump in and tear me apart. With a splash, Xiaomei also surfaced after holding her breath for several minutes. When she saw Mikai, she greeted her naturally. Annie, why are you back? She quietly told me as I stood there stunned. That gorgeous woman is my aunt. She is the female CEO of our family business. She is always this cold and aloof. Do not take it personally. I thought I had heard wrong. She is your aunt. Yes. Then, what is your actual name? I asked again. Me Wanwan. You still did not know my full name. When I looked toward the deck again, that grim woman had already left. Let us keep swimming, Xiaomei said unconcernedly. My aunt probably just came home briefly. She will be off to deal with work soon. Forget about her. But how could I still feel like swimming? I floated on my back, thinking of that woman's icy expression, then of the truth me Wanwan had just revealed. My thoughts became a tangled mess. Just then, the butler, Uncle Su, came to the pool and said to Xiaomei, Miss, the CEO wants you to come inside now. She has something very important to tell you. Though disappointed, Xiaomei had no choice but to get out first and head toward the living room. The moment I remembered whose territory this was, I lost the desire to keep swimming too. Still dripping wet, I went to the nearby bathroom to shower and change. As hot water poured over me in the shower, I replayed what had just happened. My thoughts drifted. I never would have imagined that me Wanwan was actually Mikai's niece. What a twisted mess. What a twisted, unlucky mess. It seemed the villa, where I had met Mikai before, was merely a place she used for tryst with men. This was her real home. I stopped dwelling on it. After showering for less than 10 minutes, I quickly dressed and left the bathroom. I had planned to slip away quietly, but my watch, worth over 1 million yuan, was still in the living room. My phone and car keys were there, too. I had to walk toward the living room, pretending to be calm. But just a few steps into the living room, as I looked around for my watch, I suddenly felt someone behind me roughly grab my hair. Pain shot through my scalp. I cried out instinctively, my head jerking backward. When I turned, I met Mikai's furious, blazing eyes. I scanned the room, but Xiaomei was nowhere to be seen. Only then did I realize she had made an excuse and left. Tell me, when did you start fooling around with me, Wanwan? She yanked my hair viciously, leaning close as she demanded through clenched teeth. You fucking got close to her on purpose, didn't you? Facing that dangerous expression, I did not even blink. I could not be bothered to struggle. I let her keep hold of me, then teased her without a shred of fear. Why are you so worked up? You saw me having so much fun with another woman. Jealous. Could you let go first? first? You can insult my character, but do not insult my hairstyle. That only made her more furious. She shoved me hard onto the sofa again. My head struck the sofa armrest. Pain made me grimace. My head spun. You can fool around with whatever trashy women you want. That is none of my business. Mikai stared at me darkly, speaking through clenched teeth. But I am warning you. Do not provoke me Wanwan again. Do not go near her again. Otherwise, I really will make you disappear. Clearly, the fact that I knew me Wanwan was serious to her. Far more serious than I had imagined. But I was already sick of her repeated threats. As an extreme sports fanatic who could conquer anything, I thought I was invincible. How could I possibly fear death? So I simply leaned back against the sofa, giving her a wicked smile, and taunted her with careless swagger. If you've got the nerve, kill me. Who is afraid of whom? Faced with my arrogant attitude, Mikai burned with even greater fury. She stepped toward me. Aren't you only after money? How much do you want from her? I will give you every cent right now. Seeing she was about to transfer me money again, I sneered coldly. Mikai, do you really think being with other women is only about money for me, too? Then you are wrong. As I spoke, I rose and walked up to her, staring straight into her eyes. Let me tell you this. Mi Wanwan is the girl who invited me out for a late-night meal last time. We have known each other for 6 months. Compared with an old woman like you, at 34, she is young and full of life, gentle and romantic. She makes me feel completely valued. So, I plan to date such a perfect, innocent girl and have a sweet romance. Talking about money is so vulgar. Mikai fought hard to suppress her anger. You slept together? I gave a cold laugh. Yes, she is no worse than you in bed. We are very compatible. Before I could finish, she suddenly raised her hand and slapped me. I was instantly stunned. My mind went blank. But after only 4 or 5 seconds of shock, I struck back with even greater force, landing a hard slap across her face. Before she could react, still not satisfied, I raised my left hand and delivered another resounding slap. I slapped her from both sides. Although I held back, it still hurt her badly enough. I could clearly see the suppressed rage in her eyes. But who would have thought that the scene we had just made would be witnessed by Jingcheng as he walked in? Xiao Kai. Jingcheng rushed in. Mo. What are you doing? Why did you come here and start acting crazy? Are you insane? I casually made up an excuse. Your fiancé just came on to me. I was defending myself. Jingcheng's expression froze. He immediately snapped back. Mo, watch your mouth. You are already notorious. Do not stand here and slander Xiaokai. I could not be bothered arguing with Jingcheng. Even one more word felt exhausting. But Jingcheng closed in on me again, demanding defensively. Tell me, how exactly did you get in here? What are you doing here? After all, this is Mikai's most private residence. Other than the Mi family, no outsiders would be allowed in so easily. Ask your woman yourself. Why should I explain myself to you? I just wanted to get out of this hellhole. I turned to grab my car keys from the sofa. Jingcheng blocked my way. Explain yourself. Mo, however wild you are, that is none of my business. But if you dare act shamelessly around my fiancé, I will not let this go. I mocked him with open contempt. Is that so? Jingcheng, are you not supposed to be so patient? Why are you acting tough with me? Careful. Your perfect image might crumble. Then all hell will break loose. At that, Jingcheng's anger froze on his face. I ignored him. I gathered my belongings and headed for the living room door. Xiao Kai, what just happened? Jingcheng impatiently pressed Mikai. Why was my brother here? And why did he clash with you? Mikai acted as though she had not heard him. Her unfathomable gaze stayed on me as I drove away. She said nothing for a long while. Xiao Kai, Mikai finally spoke. You should leave first. I want some quiet. Jingcheng grew anxious. Did we not agree to pick out a diamond ring this afternoon, then have dinner together tonight? You can decide all the engagement details. I will transfer you whatever money is needed. Mikai discussed the wedding as if she were assigning a subordinate. A simple task. She did not even properly look at the man she was about to marry. Faced with Mikai's cold, distant attitude, Jingcheng felt awful inside. Thinking of her exchange of slaps with me, he concluded that I must have ruined Mikai's mood. I am sorry. My family produced a lunatic like him, and he has disturbed your life. Unable to resist, Jingcheng wrapped his arms around her from behind. He comforted her softly. You do not need to give Mo a second thought. Do not worry. My parents and I will deal with him privately. Mikai coldly pried Jingcheng's arms from around her waist. Go home early. I still have work to do. With that, she did not care how Jingcheng looked or felt. She went upstairs without expression. Jingcheng stood there, stunned. His heart instantly sank to the depths. Thinking of how I had repeatedly interfered, he quietly drew a deep breath. It was time to do something. I drove down the main road, my cheeks still stinging slightly. I had been having a great time with Mi Wanwan today. I had not relaxed like that in a long time. Who knew I would run into that awful woman again? And so much ridiculous drama had followed. I was not someone who liked to agonize over things, but that woman kept appearing in my life. She threatened me one moment, and still wanted to sleep with me the next, all while pretending to be virtuous. I returned home exhausted. The moment I lay down on the sofa, my WeChat chimed. When I checked it, it was a voice message from me, Wanwan. Yunmo, where are you now? I am sorry. This afternoon, my aunt said my grandmother fell and was rushed to the hospital. She told me to go visit her right away. So I left without saying goodbye. I forced myself to perk up and sent back a voice message. It is okay. How is your grandmother? How is she now? She only strained her back. It is nothing too serious. My aunt just overreacted. Then take good care of your grandmother. Thanks for keeping me company today. She asked again. Are you free tonight? I would like to see you now. After hesitating for a few seconds, I typed back. I have other plans tonight. We were out all afternoon, too. Let us talk another time. Before she could reply, I switched off my phone. I closed my eyes, wanting only some peace and quiet to ease my pounding headache. Now that I knew Wanwan was Kai's niece, deep down, I did not really want to get involved with her. I did not want trouble to follow me. 2 peaceful days passed. I pulled myself together and continued overseeing the pet hospital renovations. I left early and returned late every day. One morning, I was discussing plans to purchase medical equipment for the clinic with my staff when 2 unwelcome visitors suddenly walked in. They were Meng Ruyun and her son, Jingcheng. I merely glanced at them coolly. What do you want? Why I came to see you? You should know perfectly well. Sorry, I do not care about a single piece of your Yun family's bullshit, and I know nothing about it. If you have something to say it. Do not beat around the bush. I am very busy. Meng Ruyun did her best to suppress her anger. I heard from Jingcheng. You went to his fiancée's private villa that day. What exactly was your intention? I sneered. To seduce her, of course. What else could it be? Your future daughter-in-law is rich and beautiful. A top-tier female CEO. What man would not want her? Meng Ruyun drew a deep breath and said through clenched teeth. Yun Mo, you have provoked me again and again over the years. I took it as childish tantrums. I pitied you because your mother died young, so I did not hold it against you. But you dare set your twisted sights on my son's future happiness. I will teach you a real lesson. I replied even more scornfully. Is that so, you old bitch? Over 20 years ago, you seduced your sister's husband to climb your way to the top. 20 years later, I am following your example, seducing my brother's fiancée. Is that not fair? Meng Ruyun's face went white with rage. She was left speechless, unsure how to react. Jingcheng stepped forward to back her up. Yun Mo, we cannot beat you at running your filthy mouth. My mother and I came here today, not to start a conflict, but to give you a warning. Your rebellious, crazy act only works in your low-class circle. If you try to provoke the Mi family and cross our bottom line, you will suffer in the end. Watch yourself. I gave a cold snort at his threat. Jingcheng, I merely went to her house, and you are already this scared. You even came here to threaten me. Seems you are not confident in your relationship with your fiancé. Jingcheng's expression stiffened. I had clearly struck a nerve. Cut the crap. Just know this. Kai and I are getting engaged on the 18th of next month. If the Mi family learns a notorious man like you is circling around her, they will not stand by. I could not be bothered with his posturing. I turned aside. Jingcheng, the smartest thing you can do is control your woman. Bluffing me is useless. You know that. I have nothing to lose, so I do not fear people like you. Meng Ruyun was completely enraged. She was about to strike. What do you mean by that? Are you openly declaring war on me? But before her hand got halfway there, my German shepherd lunged at Meng Ruyun. Meng Ruyun screamed in terror. She shrieked and flailed at the dog. Jingcheng shrieked in fright too. He wanted to help, but feared being bitten. The scene instantly descended into chaos. Just as the dog was about to claw her face, I immediately called her name. Dongzai, come here. The dog obediently stopped attacking. The dog obediently returned to my side. Meng Ruyun and Jingcheng were terrified. They hurried out in disgrace. Over the next few days, I did not take my conflict with them to heart. I thought they were just making empty threats. I remained busy with the clinic's work. But one morning a week later, as I was sleeping in at home, the manager of one of my branches called. She said urgently, "This is bad. Yun Mo, something terrible has happened." All sleepiness vanished. I rolled over and sat up. What happened? 5 dogs vaccinated at our clinic have died. The customers are here raising hell. They have started fighting. Get here quickly. I raced to the downtown branch. On the way, I called the manager for details. It turned out the 5 dead dogs had all come to my pet hospital for vaccines within 3 days. None had underlying illnesses. Every death was linked to the vaccine. This was extremely serious. I quickly worked out a solution in my mind, but I had barely gotten out of the car when the dog owners rushed at me like maniacs. Some grabbed hold of me and beat me. Others screamed abuse and wept hysterically. Several female employees struggled desperately to pull the furious customers away. Only then could I catch my breath. My head was bleeding. I was hurt and disheveled, but I had to calm down. I was a dog owner myself. I understood that losing their dogs was no different from losing a son. No matter their rage, I understood it. I am sorry, Everyone. After something like this, I will give everyone an explanation. You will receive every cent you are owed. One customer screamed in anguish. Who the hell wants your compensation? Do you think money can bring my baby back? We want you dead. We want you dead, buried with our beloved dogs. My customers were always high-end clientele. These dog owners were wealthy, privileged women. Money was the last thing they lacked. How could they care about my paltry compensation? Another customer shouted, "Call the police. Call them now. This trash clinic should be shut down for good." Several officers came to the clinic. After further investigation, the truth quickly came to light. The clinic's original vaccines were perfectly safe. The dogs had been deliberately given inferior vaccines secretly brought in by a nurse. The nurse vanished after the incident. Even though we identified the culprit, even if she were later caught, it would not matter much. The customers would not care which nurse killed their dogs. They only knew this pet hospital's medical credentials had serious problems. This brand was no longer trustworthy. They would never risk bringing pets here. Over the next few days, things rapidly worsened. Besides astronomical compensation claims, several of my branches were implicated. The animal health authorities ordered them all closed. Operations were suspended for a complete overhaul. Rival businesses made a spectacle of it. They deliberately drove the online narrative against us. The thriving business I had built, a pet brand with a growing reputation, faced a devastating blow. It happened so suddenly. I could not turn things around quickly. I was deeply depressed for days. I was not stupid. Anyone could figure out what had caused this. I just had not expected them to move so fast. Their first move caught me completely off guard. The moment rage clouded my mind, I stopped caring about anything else. I sped straight to the Yun residence. The instant I got out, I strode into the living room. A housekeeper approached me. I asked coldly, "Is Meng Ruyun home?" Intimidated by my aggressive manner, the housekeeper nervously pointed upstairs. I rushed straight to the second floor. I reached Yun Tao and Meng Ruyun's master bedroom. I kicked open the half-closed door. When Meng Ruyun heard the door being kicked open, Meng Ruyun turned and saw me. Her face turned cold. "Whatever it is, wait downstairs in the living room. This is your father's in my bedroom. After all, do not make a scene here." I could not be bothered with her nonsense. I went straight to the vanity. With one sweep of my arm, I knocked the luxury cosmetics off the counter and onto the floor. "Yunmo, what kind of craziness are you starting now? Get out." I fixed her with an icy, piercing glare. "Meng Ruyun, you paid off an employee at my clinic and had 5 innocent dogs killed. You wanted to ruin my reputation in the industry, did you not? I have no idea what nonsense you are talking about. Get out right now." I glared at her fiercely. I never expected that after living half your life, you still could not change your vile nature. If you want to come after me, then use honest methods. Faced with my accusations, Meng Ruyun had been about to lecture me, but after pausing for a few seconds, she gave a cold laugh and asked, "Where is your proof? Yunmo, were you not so arrogant last time? Did you not say you had nothing to lose? This was only a small lesson for you. You should know. I have seen more of life than you ever will. You bastard. You are still far too green to challenge me. If you keep provoking me and crossing my line, next time, I will send you straight to prison. Especially that damn dog you keep. If you do not keep it under control, and I run into what happened last time again, sooner or later, I will have it chopped up for dog meat." My rage ignited instantly. I reached out and brutally grabbed Meng Ruyun by the hair. The pull tore painfully at Meng Ruyun's scalp. She screamed, struggled, and called for help. But my hatred for that old woman had reached its peak. My grip tightened even further. "Yunmo, let go of my mother." Yan Jingliang had just come upstairs and witnessed it. He charged over furiously and drove a flying kick into my waist. The force was immense. It sent me crashing to the floor. Yan Jingliang was Meng Ruyun and Yun Wentao's second son. He was a scumbag who loved fighting and causing trouble. He had only returned last week from partying abroad. Before I could react, Yan Jingliang kicked me several more times. "You actually dared lay a hand on my mother? If I do not kill you today, I will show you what arrogance gets you." I lay sprawled on the floor. After such a vicious assault, my vision spun into darkness. The taste of blood filled my mouth. Hearing the commotion, Yun Wentao rushed out from his study to stop him. But Yan Jingliang was like a rabid dog. At last, he yanked me up. Then he slammed me violently into the railing. To make matters worse, Yun Jingliang had broken that railing 2 days earlier. It had not yet been repaired. My body smashed straight through it. I went flying helplessly from the second floor. As I plummeted, I let out an instinctive, agonized scream. But unexpectedly, at the very instant before I hit the ground, a woman suddenly rushed toward me. The tremendous impact knocked her to the ground. I landed heavily on top of her. The moment we hit the ground, my mind went completely blank. My heart nearly stopped beating. When I felt something moving beneath me, I realized I was lying on someone's body. I turned my head and looked. The face before me was Mikai's. In other words, the poor sucker who had rushed over to catch me was her. I was stunned senseless. I stared blankly into her eyes. For a while, I was utterly dazed. My mind was empty. I even forgot my physical pain. Mikai only rolled her eyes at me. She tried to get up, but stabbing pain shot through her back and left arm. She was clearly badly hurt, though I had only fallen from the second floor. The force of a grown man's fall would undoubtedly inflict serious injury on anyone I landed on. I did not know what had gotten into this woman. She had risked being seriously injured, rushing over to catch me with her bare hands. She had clearly rushed over without hesitating for even half a second. Xiaokai. Jingcheng was the first to rush to her side. His face was filled with panic as he asked, "How are you? Can you move? Are you hurt anywhere? Why do you care about Yenmo?" At the same time, Yan Wentao and Meng Ruyun rushed downstairs in a panic. They ran to Mikai's side, apologizing profusely and anxiously asking about her injuries. Every one of them was beside themselves with worry. Meanwhile, I sat collapsed nearby, another victim. No one cared whether I lived or died. Meng Ruyun could not help complaining. "Xiaokai, honestly, why did you suddenly rush over like that? Do you not realize how dangerous that was? What if he had struck your head or another vital area? You scared us to death." Assuming Mikai did not know what had happened, Meng Ruyun immediately put on a stern face and twisted the facts to blame me. "If you wanted to jump to your death, why did you not go die somewhere else? You even chose to pull the stunt while we had guests over? Luckily, Miss Mi is not seriously hurt. If anything had happened to her, we would absolutely hold you criminally responsible." Hearing those revolting words, my face went ashen, and I offered no defense. After what had just happened, and with my body racked by pain, I was still numb and disoriented. Mikai pushed away the others supporting her. She swept a cold gaze over the Yun family. Then she spoke darkly. "Aunt Meng, if I saw correctly just now, your family is suspected of attempted murder." Yan Wentao glanced at Yun Jingliang, the culprit standing nearby. He sighed, unable to explain himself. Meng Ruyun immediately stepped forward to argue. "Kai, do not make it sound so serious. This is what happened. That troublesome son came to our home again to cause trouble. He attacked me like he meant to kill me, an elder in this family." Yun Jingliang could not stand it and tried to defend me. "Who knew Yenmo would?" Mikai impatiently cut her off. "Enough. I have no interest in meddling in the Yun family's grudges. But every time I come here, I walk into some chaotic mess. It is deeply unpleasant. If you have not settled your family issues, the wedding will be postponed for now." She did not want to remain another moment in that chaotic house. With that, she walked toward the door, radiating coldness. Watching her leave so abruptly, with her arm seemingly fractured, her fiancé, Yan Jingcheng, was consumed with anger. And when he remembered Mikai mentioning a postponed wedding, Yan Jingcheng lost control and cursed. "Yunmo, why did that fall not kill you? If you died, all this would be over. There would not be so much trouble in this family anymore." After cursing me, Yan Jingcheng turned and ran outside after Mikai. The Yun family had planned to meet with the Mi family that night to discuss the wedding details. Now that things had ended this way, Meng Ruyun was equally furious and resentful. Though I had just narrowly escaped death and was still sprawled on the floor, unable to rise, Meng Ruyun felt not the slightest guilt. Instead, she gritted her teeth and cursed me. "You little bastard. You really know how to pick your moment to cause trouble. Let me tell you, if Yan Jingcheng's marriage is affected, I will make you pay." Yan Wentao could not stand it any longer. "Enough. Can you not see he is hurt? Can you just shut up for now? After all, he was my biological father." Though Yan Wentao also hated my defiant behavior, after that terrifying moment, he felt somewhat guilty. "Get up. Go to the room inside. I will treat your injuries." Yan Wentao was a neurosurgeon. There was even a private medical room at home. But just as Yan Wentao reached out to support me, I shoved him away as if shocked. Gritting my teeth, I forced myself to stand. "Meng Ruyun, Yan Wentao." I stared at them with a dark gaze and spoke with chilling resolve. "One day, you will realize that failing to kill me today was the greatest regret of your lives." Before either could react, I dragged my body, which felt ready to fall apart, and staggered out of the living room. In 8 days, I got into my car. On the drive home, my mind was in turmoil. I drove slowly, thinking of the disaster at the Yun house. My heart clenched in waves of pain. I could barely breathe. Gradually, without realizing it, my thoughts returned to my past. I remembered my mother, dead for years, and my grandparents. My mother's name was Meng Ryan. She had an older sister named Meng Ruyun. They were the Meng family's beautiful pair of sisters. The difference was, Meng Ruyun was an abandoned baby adopted by the Meng family, while Meng Ryan was their biological daughter. The Meng parents treated both daughters equally. They were perfectly fair to each of them. The sisters got along well enough, until Yan Wentao came into their lives. Yan Wentao held a doctorate in medicine and had returned from the United States. He came from a wealthy family and was strikingly handsome. That year, with everyone's blessings, Yan Wentao and Meng Ryan became husband and wife. The following year, they had me. But before I was even 3, Meng Ryan discovered that her husband was having an affair with Meng Ruyun. Worse still, They already had an illegitimate child together. My mother suffered a complete breakdown and fell into severe depression. In the end, she jumped to her death. She was only 28, having lost their biological daughter. My grandparents were naturally devastated. Their health worsened by the day. Then, just 2 years later, an even greater tragedy struck the Meng family. The elderly Meng couple, my maternal grandparents, died in a suspicious car accident. The Meng family line ended there. At the time, the Meng family ran a pharmaceutical company. Its output value was modest, but still exceeded 1 billion yuan. With the Meng family wiped out, it naturally fell into Meng Ruyun's hands. Just like that, Meng Ruyun, the adopted daughter, killed her own sister, stole her husband, and then became heir to Meng Pharmaceuticals. Now, the Yun family had secured ties with the pharmaceutical industry's leader, the Mi family, a 100 billion yuan empire. A successful marriage alliance would raise their status even further. So, where was karma in this world? The more cold-blooded, shameless, and ruthless people were, the smoother their lives seemed to go. When my thoughts returned, my chest felt so tight I could not breathe. After everything that had happened these past few days, thinking of the Yun family's cruelty and shamelessness, I was utterly consumed by hatred. When I got home, I collapsed onto my bed like a walking corpse. My head felt as if it were splitting apart. By then, when my animal hospital could return to normal remained unknown. Its reputation had been devastated. Staff had resigned, and the clinic was sealed shut. I still had lawsuits and compensation claims to handle. On top of that, Yan Jingliang's beating had left me badly injured. Beyond the external injuries, my internal organs had suffered some damage as well. I had to remain hospitalized for several days, but I chose not to call the police. The Yun family owed me far too much. Beyond the 3 lives of my mother and grandparents, there was also the Meng family's business. I had to force myself to stay calm and plan for the long term. I had never felt such a fierce desire for revenge. I knew exactly what the Yun family valued most right now: the business marriage between Yun Jingcheng and Mi Kai. What kind of family was the Mi family? Mi Pharmaceuticals led the entire industry. Its branches spanned the globe, and it employed tens of thousands of people. It was easy to imagine how eagerly they wanted a marriage alliance with a powerhouse like the Miss, to attach themselves to such a wealthy industry giant. Meng Ruyun, Yun Wentao, and their whole family must have been thrilled. Only by starting with that woman could I deliver the deadliest revenge against that family. At that thought, I felt reborn, like a dying man suddenly rising from his sick bed. Half a month passed quickly. My body had mostly recovered. That day, I dressed with care. Once I was ready, I went to Mi Pharmaceuticals Group headquarters. The floor housing the chief executive's office was not open to just anyone, but I had prepared in advance. After expertly entering a passcode, I took the elevator straight to the restricted 10th floor. At last, I arrived outside Mikai's office. Her secretary had conveniently stepped out for a moment. I walked to the door, and without hesitation, pushed open the tightly shut door. After entering her spacious, luxurious office, I found her lying back on the floor, resting with her eyes closed. Perhaps she was too exhausted, because she did not wake immediately. I locked the door behind me and quietly approached her, step by step. Only when I reached Mikai's desk did she suddenly open her eyes. Mikai looked at me as if I were insane for 4 or 5 seconds. "What are you doing here?" Her voice was low and cold, with a trace of anger beneath it. This was her office, after all, where she handled the company's daily affairs, a place that demanded respect. For a man like me, who had a messy history with her, to suddenly invade this place was a grave offense against her. But I abandoned my usual hostility, walked around in front of her, and watched her with an amused half-smile. "It has been half a month. I missed you, so I came to see you." With that, I sat directly on her desk, wearing a cocky, carefree look, as though I belonged there. "Yun Mo, did I not warn you to disappear from my world completely?" I gave a low, mocking laugh. "You did save my life at the Yun house last time. If I really disappeared, would that not make me ungrateful? Miss me. To be honest, if you had not risked your life to save me last time, I might have been paralyzed, if not dead. So tell me, should I not thank you properly?" Mikai's face darkened. "Do not mention that mess again. If you die somewhere else, it has nothing to do with me. But dying at the Yun house would affect my wedding. I could not stand by and watch." With that, she ordered me out. "Get out now." Sitting on her desk, I let my hungry gaze roam over her. "Where do you want me to go?" I moved behind her and teasingly asked in her ear, "Should I go to Mi Wanwan instead?" "Oh, right. She asked me out again today. Do you think I should go?" The instant Mikai heard that name, she flew into a rage. "Do not use her to test my limits, or I will kill you." I did not confront her head on. Instead, I feigned weakness. "Why are you being so fierce with me? How about this? Let us play a little game. If I lose, I will leave. The game is this. I will guess what brand of underwear you are wearing today. If I guess right, I win. If I guess wrong, I lose." Mikai's eyes darkened. Unable to bear it any longer, She shoved me away. I ignored her anger, insisting she play this so-called game. I guess you are wearing our money. Under my relentless pressure, Mikai's expression turned conflicted. Did you not hear me tell you to get out? Then tell me, was my guess right or not? No, I don't believe you, unless you let me check. As I spoke, I reached out, and under my relentless advances, I got my way with Mikai again. The storm didn't end until over an hour later. Mikai reclined on the sofa, lost in thought, but she was clearly much calmer. Mikai grabbed her phone and tossed it to me. Transfer any amount you want to yourself. Once it clears, get out. Clearly, that intense encounter was just another transaction to her. In her eyes, I had schemed my way into her office for the sole purpose of getting money. But this time, I had other plans. I gave a cold laugh, then tossed the phone back to her and said casually, "Miss me, I'm no longer interested in your money. I want more." Mikai looked puzzled. "What do you want?" "You." At that, Mikai's face visibly darkened. "What do you mean?" I held her gaze for a long moment. "Honestly, I plan to keep coming after you. And I mean it seriously." Mikai grew irritated. "Yunmo, don't think that because I was willing. You can keep pushing your luck." I'd expected Mikai to react this way. My lips curled in a cold smile. I said meaningfully, "Mikai, you shouldn't have provoked me when you didn't know me at all. Now, I'm afraid you'll find it hard to get rid of me. Just think of me as a madman. A man like me never stops until he gets what he wants. When I lose control, even I scare myself. Prepare yourself. See you next time." With that, I headed for the door. Mikai didn't take any of my nonsense seriously. She hadn't heard a word of it. But one moment, this man had been intimate with her, and the next, he walked away without a care. He could pull away so effortlessly that an inexplicable tightness filled her chest. It was as though I had somehow taken control of her emotions. At the door, I suddenly turned back. In a light tone, I left her with one final remark. "Your engagement party with Jingcheng is in 1 week, right? I suggest you cancel it." That day is unlucky. After leaving the office building, I thought about the passion we had just shared in her office. My thoughts gradually drifted, and my gaze grew darker. Over the next 2 days, I pulled myself together again and began cleaning up the mess in my business. That afternoon, Wanwan asked me to dinner again. Since we went mountain biking together last time, we had not seen each other. I had been dealing with too much trouble, and Wanwan could return to the United States to resume her studies at any time. Her schedule was not very flexible, considering how much she had helped me, and that she had just returned from the United States. I casually agreed. We were dining at a French restaurant downtown. When I arrived, Wanwan was already waiting outside. We went into a private room we'd reserved on the 2nd floor. Being around a girl my age like her, I felt quite relaxed. As soon as we sat down, I may talk. "Didn't you just go to the United States? Why are you back already?" "I'm about to graduate. My father wants me to start training at the company early. So coming back to China is routine now." Making small talk, I complimented her. "You're really good at school. Getting into the Massachusetts Institute of Technology isn't easy." Wanwan sighed helplessly. "My family pushed me into it. I'm the only child of my generation, after all. Everyone in the family has their eyes on me. It's exhausting." "Your family is so wealthy. Your parents should have given you more siblings." Wanwan told me the truth, her tone heavy. Many years ago, Wanwan actually had an older sister. But when my sister was 10, she had an accident. She died. After that, my mother could no longer have children. Hearing that, I realized my question had been insensitive. "I'm sorry. It's okay. It happened almost 20 years ago. My family has gradually moved on. Now I just hope my aunt gets married soon and gives my grandmother a few grandsons. Then there will be less pressure on me." Hearing her mention her aunt made me somewhat uncomfortable, so I raised my glass and took a drink to hide it. Just then, Wanwan asked me, "By the way, you asked for the access code to my aunt's office floor that day. Did you need her for something important?" I made up an excuse. "Isn't your aunt about to get engaged to my half-brother? That makes her my future sister-in-law too. I went to ask her for a favor that day." "What kind of favor?" "It was about my pet hospital being shut down. I thought someone powerful in pharmaceuticals like her would know people in the regulatory departments and could pull a few strings for me." The moment I said it, even I thought the excuse was a stretch. But to keep Wanwan from suspecting the tangled relationship between Mikai and me, I had to bluff my way through it for now. "I thought you needed her for something serious." Wanwan said lightly. "You should have told me sooner if you needed connections. I happen to know the health bureau director's son well. A phone call would settle something this minor. Why go to my aunt?" I was desperate and grasping at straws. I acted too rashly. "Actually, I didn't even see her that day." "It's normal that you couldn't see her. She's the president of a major conglomerate with a packed schedule every day. She's constantly flying around the world. She has no time for these trivial matters. If you need help later, just come to me." I lowered my head, took another sip, and said nothing. After a few seconds, I abruptly asked. Mi Wanwan, your aunt seems to care about you a lot. Mi Wanwan smiled. I guess so. She may technically be my elder, but she's really no different from an older sister. As long as she doesn't force me into drug research like her, I'd happily call her my sister. My feelings became complicated, but I only gave her a faint smile. Let's eat. The food's getting cold. Mi Wanwan spoke tentatively. This counts as our first real date, right? I'm really sorry about last time. I didn't even treat you to a meal. I looked up at her. Her burning gaze met mine. Uneasily, I looked away. After quietly eating his steak for a while, Mi Wanwan, I brought the mountain bike you gave me last time. It's in my trunk. Remember to take it with you later. Mi Wanwan's hand froze in midair, fork in hand. What do you mean by that? Her expression darkened. She was clearly upset. If you don't like its performance or style, just say so. I'll get you another one. No, it's just too expensive. It cost over 1 million yuan. I can't accept it. After a brief pause, Mi Wanwan said quietly, Yun Mo, we've known each other for a while now. I don't want to keep hiding certain things. I'll be direct. I really like you. I was drawn to you from the first moment I saw you. I'd known how Mi Wanwan felt about me for a long time, so her confession didn't surprise me. Mi Wanwan, you see me through such rose-colored glasses. Honestly, I feel ashamed. You just don't know me yet. I'm nothing like the man you imagine. Once you truly understand who I am, you may not even want to be my friend. She gazed at me even more intently. Tell me, then, what is there about you that I don't know? She thought to herself. She knew my identity and background inside out. Didn't that mean she knew me well enough? I gave a low chuckle. For example, I'm not part of high society. I may be Yun Wentao's son, but none of that family's money or resources have anything to do with me. So, we're not of equal social standing. A penniless, cynical guy like me isn't suited for marriage, much less a relationship. Instead, Mi Wanwan seemed relieved. I thought you were going to say something serious. My aunt is the one who needs a socially equal match. I'm much freer than that. I just want a man who's different. Like you. I had to admit defeat. I'm really not a good man. There are many things I don't know how to explain to you. Then don't explain. I've always loved adventure. I'm not interested in so-called good men. She lifted her cocktail and held it out to clink glasses with me. Her gaze toward me held even more affection. A man like you, free-spirited and unfathomable, is someone I really want to explore. I smiled helplessly. Then I raised my glass and clinked it with hers. I was smiling at how adorable she was. Over the years, all kinds of women had confessed to me. I'd always treated it as a little amusement in life, nothing more than a passing smile. So Mi Wanwan's declaration stirred no waves in my heart either. I simply smiled and let it pass. But I also realized that only when I was with this woman did I feel truly at ease and happy. No scheming, no pretending, no need for the sarcasm. Later, we happily finished our meal. Mi Wanwan called over a server to pay the bill first. I went to the restroom. When I came out, I reached a corner on the restaurant's second floor. As I looked for Mi Wanwan, I never expected that. The moment I looked up, I'd catch sight of a familiar figure. The restaurant was dimly lit, and for a moment, I wondered if my eyes were playing tricks on me. Only as Mi Kai drew closer was I sure. Had she followed me? Clearly, Mi Kai was here entertaining a client. I took a deep breath and quickly steadied myself. I neither hid nor fled. I simply stood there, calm and unhurried, until her gaze collided with mine. The instant she saw me, she stopped walking too. After paying the bill, Mi Wanwan came out and immediately saw Mi Kai. She greeted her naturally. Annie, you're eating here too? Seeing Mi Wanwan and me together here, Mi Kai understood everything at once. Oh, Auntie, this is Yun Mo, the one I brought to your villa to swim last time. You know him already, right? Mi Wanwan said, taking my hand with casual intimacy. She innocently told her, we just finished eating here. We're going to play badminton next. We'll be home late tonight. Mi Kai said nothing. Her icy gaze remained fixed on me. I easily caught the jealousy in her eyes. I gave a faint, cold smile. For once, I didn't resist Mi Wanwan holding my hand. Mi Wanwan noticed she was with other people. Annie, you get back to your business. We're leaving. As we passed Mi Kai, I looked deeply into her eyes once more, then calmly followed Mi Wanwan downstairs. Mi Kai showed little emotion on the surface, but inwardly, she had already decided where to bury me. I was getting ready to play badminton. My mind began to wander the moment we got in the car. Mi Wanwan noticed I seemed distracted. What are you thinking about? I feigned casualness. What a coincidence tonight, running into your aunt like that. As Mi Wanwan spoke, she unconsciously leaned a little closer to me. The restaurant owner is her friend. She usually comes here whenever she's entertaining clients. It's perfectly normal to run into her. My aunt is always on my side, especially when it comes to my boyfriend. She approves of whoever I choose. If she approves, my grandmother has to approve too. My parents' objections don't count. Looking at Mi Wanwan's innocent face, I couldn't help recalling everything that had happened with that woman. I felt the guilty unease of a man hiding something, but that unease quickly faded. I wasn't some indecisive saint. I always knew exactly what I wanted, and exactly what I was doing. After that, I went to the gym with Wanwan as usual, and played badminton for 2 hours. It was nearly 10 that night, when I finally returned to my apartment complex. The moment I stepped out of the elevator, I looked up and saw Kai, like the Grim Reaper, staring at me with a glacial glare. I paused slightly, but I was completely composed. I walked up to her and spoke teasingly. "Miss me? You miss me that much? We were apart for only 3 days, and you already came looking for me." She said nothing. A dangerous, eerie silence hung over her face. Unhurriedly, I unlocked the door with my fingerprint. I even generously gave Kai the code to the lock. "You can come into my place whenever you want from now on. Just wait for me in bed. No need to stand outside in the cold." She had meant to endure a few more minutes, but this man had a talent for her, setting her off with the calmest tone. "Yunmo, how many times have I warned you not to go after Wanwan? Why do you keep defying me? What do you want? Are you deliberately playing with fire? Thinking of how me Wanwan and I had appeared together at the restaurant, flaunting our intimacy right before her eyes." Faced with Kai's fury, I did not even blink. "Miss me, could you calm down? Nothing happened between Wanwan and me. This is all a misunderstanding." Hearing my unexpected response, Kai's anger froze on her face. I reached out and stroked her cheek. "Relax. I have only held her hand. I only treat her like a kid. I was just playing around with her. Do not be mad." With that, I suddenly claimed her lips, forcing my way in. At first, Kai tried to push me away in anger, but under my relentless kisses, caught between rage and desire, she suddenly took the initiative. She kissed me back wildly, as if competing with me. I did not know how long it lasted. When it finally ended, we lay beneath the covers, in no rush to shower or dress. After sleeping together so many times, I always pulled up my pants and left as soon as we were done. I had never shared tenderness with her afterward. Yet now, as Kai moved closer, I remained unmoved. I neither responded nor resisted. Just as we both sank into the moment, my WeChat notification chimed. I picked up my phone from the nightstand and checked it. It was a message from Wanwan. "Are you asleep? I kind of miss you tonight." Just then, Kai spotted Wanwan's profile picture on my WeChat. She snatched my phone away. When she saw Wanwan's message, her face changed instantly. The storm in her heart erupted again. I deliberately asked, "How do you think I should reply?" "Delete her." Only then did she seem to remember why she came tonight. "Cut all ties with her from now on. No contact of any kind." Leaning against the headboard, I sneered. "And why should I? Nothing has happened between us yet, but that does not mean nothing ever will. Besides, she is so devoted to me." I am still a little torn. "Yunmo, what exactly do you mean?" "What I mean is, whether I keep seeing Wanwan is my decision. If you want me to stay away from her, fine. But you must agree to one condition." "Name it." I stared directly at her. "I want you to call off the engagement, and your engagement to Jingcheng." So I had kept my hands off Wanwan, only to use her as leverage against Kai. Kai rolled her eyes contemptuously. Her disgust for this man deepened further. "Yunmo, if you only want an adult game with me, I do not mind playing along. But if you drag my family into this game, and dare interfere with my marriage, do not blame me for leaving you no way out." Kai's voice was cold and merciless. She was not joking. I gave a contemptuous snort. "So, you refuse my condition? I do not want to hear your nonsense." Kai's mood changed in an instant. I answered just as coldly. "Kai, I gave you a chance. Since we cannot reach an agreement, I will not waste another breath on you. Get out." After I drove Kai away, I began sorting through my thoughts. Kai's firm rejection of my condition was exactly what I expected. Given Kai's status, why would she be threatened by my little scheme into giving up her alliance with Jingcheng? It was wishful thinking. In the end, I decided to follow my original plan. 5 days later, Kai and Jingcheng's engagement ceremony proceeded as scheduled. Nearly everyone in the Mi family was there, including old Madame Mi, Kai's brother and sister-in-law, along with important business clients. On the Yun family's side, Yun Wentao and Meng Ruyun, Yun Jingliang, and other relatives attended in formal dress. Every face shone with joy and anticipation. As a Yun family member, I naturally came too. I just had not been invited. While the Yun family was off guard, I slipped in through the back entrance. At that moment, I wore sunglasses and stood in a dim corner, quietly watching the perfect couple on stage. Jingcheng was the Yun family's future. Meng Pharmaceuticals would also be his one day. Kai's marriage alliance with him was a perfect match. It was nothing like me, whose connection with her was purely physical. In the end, I could never stand in the spotlight. No one understood that better than I did. But so what? I wanted to see who would ultimately play whom, and who would use whom. At first, The engagement ceremony went smoothly, but unexpectedly, when the host announced that a video would play, showing Kai and Jingcheng's romantic declarations. The images on screen silenced the entire room. A short video appeared on the central screen. Jingcheng's face was clearly visible. He was on a bed in an overseas hotel, with two Western women, engaged in an unspeakably intimate act. At the sight, Jingcheng felt his mind explode. He stood rigidly in place, unable to move. Shocked cries rang out across the room. People whispered in disbelief, or pulled out their phones to take pictures. It took the staff dozens of seconds to react and rush backstage to stop the video. The video did not show Jingcheng and the two foreign women having shocking, fully naked sex. It only showed foreplay, but that was enough to cause a devastating uproar. At that moment, the Mi family was shocked and furious. They could not process it for a long while. As for the Yun family, Meng Ruyun nearly fainted. Yun Wentao collapsed into a chair, unable to believe any of it. He was completely at a loss. Kai had seen the video with her own eyes. Naturally, her expression was stiff, yet she showed little emotion. Jingcheng looked at Kai, his voice helpless and desperate. Kai, I am sorry. I am truly sorry. It is fake. This is not. Kai could no longer endure the chaos. Her face dark. She turned and headed backstage. Stop talking. The ceremony is suspended for now. Watching Kai leave in disappointment, Jingcheng felt a dull pain in his chest. He felt stripped naked and paraded through the streets. His mind was blank, and he could barely stand. The Mi family was too furious for words. They could only glare angrily at Jingcheng. They could not believe that this was the Yun family's eldest son, the highly educated man they believed had a spotless private life. Jingcheng's face turned deathly pale. He stood frozen in place, silent and unable to lift his head. He only wanted the ground to swallow him whole. At that moment, Meng Ruyun felt even more deeply humiliated. In a rage, she grabbed Jingcheng's arm and berated him before the Mi family. Jingcheng, explain yourself. Are these videos fake? Has someone set you up? Say something. We will call the police right now. They must find whoever did this. Jingcheng was too shaken to say a word. As his father, Yun Wentao had no choice but to apologize to the Mi family. Old Madam Mi, Chairman Mi, Mrs. Mi, we are truly sorry about today. We have caused your family tremendous harm. I will find whoever is behind this cruel prank. Let us postpone the engagement for now. Old Madam Mi said angrily, her face stern. Enough. After such a disgrace, this marriage alliance is cancelled. The Mi family cannot bear this disgrace. Everyone, go home and calm down first. Hearing that, Meng Ruyun felt as if her world had collapsed. She opened her mouth, hoping to change old Madam Mi's mind, but could not form a complete sentence. Since old Madam Mi had spoken, the rest of the Mi family lowered their heads in agreement. After all, no reasonable person could accept such a scene, especially since Mi Pharmaceuticals was an industry leader and cared deeply about its image and family reputation. Jingcheng felt he would suffocate if he stayed another minute. He said nothing. He only wanted to leave, to get away as fast as possible. Just as he was about to run backstage, he spotted me standing in the corner. I had my arms folded, leaning against the wall, calmly meeting his gaze. My eyes were full of a victor's taunt. In that instant, Jingcheng understood everything. He felt his whole body tremble. He wished he could drive a knife into my chest. I could not care less about the mess behind me. I turned, got into my car and sped away. Over the years, before I had gained enough power, I had been preparing in secret. Quietly, I gathered every scrap of dirt on the Yun family, saving it for the moment. This video of Jingcheng's wild past when he was 20 was originally meant to blackmail Meng Ruyun in private. I never intended to release it publicly. I had even considered leaving them some dignity. But after they sabotaged my pet store, and Jingliang kicked me downstairs, nearly killing me, I finally took this step. I chose their proudest moment to deal Jingcheng a fatal blow. When I got home, I checked my phone. I found that the explicit video incident at Jingcheng's engagement ceremony was already gaining traction online. This was the age of social media. Any explosive story on Diane could spread across the entire internet in no time, let alone something involving the Mi and Yun families at the scene of a high society marriage alliance. Now that this had happened, Jingcheng's crafted image had collapsed like a landslide. Although the Yun family launched an emergency public relations campaign, claiming the video was fabricated and posting police reports and lawyers' statements, they still could not silence the online uproar. I felt I had won a temporary victory. At last, I could sleep soundly. I could not be bothered to think about the consequences. I turned off my phone and went to bed. I slept until noon the next day. My dog's frantic barking woke me up. I opened my bleary eyes, still dazed, and instinctively looked up. A woman was standing beside my bed. When I saw Kai's icy face, I thought I was hallucinating. Only when I saw my limbs were bound did I fully wake up. You released the video. You would stoop this low. I had known Kai would come for me. I had expected her to be this furious. So I did not lose my composure. I was as calm as ever. What? After sleeping with me for a year, you still are not used to how I do things. I gave gave you a chance last time. You were too contemptuous to negotiate with me, so I had to handle it my own way. To flames of rage burned in Mikai's eyes, as if she wanted to burn me alive. After this happened, what Mikai cared about was not Yun Jingcheng's past, or how chaotic his private life had been. She could not even be bothered to follow the online backlash. Her greatest rage was directed at me, the one who released the video. The man before her, with whom she had shared countless intimate encounters, was, at his core, selfish, vicious, and utterly without scruples. His ruthlessness was beyond anything she had imagined. Yun Mo, do you have to be this shameless? I stared into her eyes and gave a soft, cold laugh. Yes, I am shameless. But do you think you are any better? You are shouting about getting married, while putting on quite a show beneath me. We're just a pair of shameless degenerates, so stop acting so high and mighty. At my words, Mikai suddenly went wild. I sensed something was wrong, but my limbs were bound. I asked in alarm, Mikai, what are you doing? Yun Mo, that mouth of yours is not meant for talking. As long as it stays quiet, it can be used for anything. Just as the air between us turned strange, urgent barking suddenly sounded outside the bedroom. Then a woman's voice called out.